Hi and welcome back, you guys. It's been so long since I've come onto YouTube and shot a video, and if you're familiar with my channel, I typically do press-on nails or tips and tricks around your home that could save you some money or do it on your own at a lower cost. You're probably clicking on this channel because you've probably just been diagnosed with hearing loss yourself, or your child has failed the hearing test at the hospital or has been diagnosed with hearing loss. And I know from personal experience, during those steps, it can be very, very overwhelming, scary, and confusing at the same time. So I'm hoping that this channel can help you guys transition into this new chapter in your life and answer any questions that you might be going through, and letting you know that you're not the only one out there. You really are not. But at that moment, it just feels like you're the only person standing on this island all by yourself. And I'm here to ensure you, you're not alone. You really are not alone, and we're all here for you guys. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna share a little bit of my personal story just so that you can understand it a little bit better, because I remember clearly once my son was diagnosed with hearing loss, I searched online till 4 in the morning looking for an answer, and I felt like at some point I became a doctor because I felt like there was so much information, but I don't know if it was even related to my son specifically. So to share my story with you, my son was delivered early. He was not on any type of medication whatsoever. They did consider that he was premature because of how early he came, but he was very healthy and strong, so we didn't have to put him in an incubator. I was released. Before I was released, he didn't pass his hearing test at the hospital. I thought nothing of it. I was just so excited that he was okay and he looks healthy and he was here in my arms. I wanted to go home as soon as possible and be in my house, in my comfort zone. I grabbed the paperwork. I remember it's like this yellow slip. She said to me, your son didn't pass his hearing test, but don't stress. This is normal. There's probably just fluid from the delivery. We do want to see you in a month at the children's hospital and just redo the hearing test. And I was like, whatever. I just want to go home. I want to take my baby home. So I get home, I'm enjoying him, and I think nothing of it. A month comes later, I go to the children's hospital. Now, if you don't know anything about hearing loss, as an adult, if we go in with to get our hearing test, we could answer the question. We could say we can't hear that, or I can't hear from this sound, or I can't hear from this angle. And they can genuinely figure out where your loss is at. Now, as an infant, they cannot talk. They cannot talk at all. And it's even more harder because they can't communicate, but they need hearing more than anyone else, because children learn through sound. They mimic. What they hear is what they say. What they hear is how they process and grow their mind. So the only way to test that when you're little is you take an ABR test. So a month later, I'm at the children's hospital and my son is diagnosed with hearing loss. And the gal was not clear of what that meant. We ran out of time. The place was closing up. So she said, I want to see you back in a month. And I'm not kidding you. I remember clearly sitting in the lobby at the children's hospital, and the janitor is literally vacuuming the floor, and I'm holding my new baby. And I felt so lost. I felt so confused. I felt like I needed to cry, but didn't know how to deal with this emotion. I don't even know how I got home that day, to tell you the truth. I got home, my husband's in the backyard dealing with the fence situation because we were trying to put a fence in our backyard. And I remember clear going, he can't hear. And he's like, what do you mean he can't hear? And I hand him this big pamphlet about hearing loss. And all both of us could think was, he's deaf? How can he be deaf? There's no one deaf in our family. Like, what does this really mean? And the fact that I didn't have any answer and I didn't have any time at the end of my appointment for my doctor to answer made me go crazy. I was more confused than ever, and I feel like that's what any parents, you're hit with this crazy news of your son can't hear or whatever health issue. You need answer, and I think for us as mom, we want to solve the problem, and I needed step by step on what I needed to do next. And at that moment, we ran out of time. So when I look back now, I really don't blame her. So I'm hoping that this channel could help you guys. So if you are a new mom and your child did not pass the hearing test, please comment down below with any questions that you have, because I really do want to take that time, answer and guide you guys through this process, because I do want to share one thing with you guys. 2 years fast forward, it is really it's not really a big deal. It's gonna be okay. It really is gonna be okay. I'll explain a little bit about hearing loss. Hearing loss comes in so many levels. There's mild, there's moderate, there's mild and moderate, and then there's severe, and then there's death. Now, typically when you have mild, you can either be at a level where you don't need hearing aids, or you do need hearing aids. And the reason why you might need hearing aid is to improve your speech, because what we hear is what we're gonna say. And if you have mild to moderate, they will recommend you to wear a hearing aid. If you have very severe hearing loss, for some, you might need a hearing aid. Some might not qualify for hearing aids, and you need something called a cochlear implant, and it literally would sit out here. I'll put some pictures over here if I can find some. And then there's deaf also. And I wanna let you guys know, with the hard of hearing community now, there is so many tools and programs out there that can help you. Also, there's it's not the end of the world. It isn't back in the day where you're wearing this bulky machine in order for your child to hear. It is so small and discreet. It has improved so much. So I can't rant on this long video or it'll drive you crazy. It's not the end of the world. You will be okay. I promise you, you will be okay. You will look back on this and realize it wasn't the end of the world. A wise woman told me once when I was sitting there and I was very lost, and I'm gonna tell you the truth, I fell into deep depression and I felt responsible for my son's hearing loss. I felt like what I could have done, what I could have ate. I was so insane that I started writing down everything I took during my whole pregnancy. It took this one comment, and I will remember it for the rest of my life. She said, "There's nothing wrong with your son. There's nothing wrong with you. You just had this dream that you were gonna have this child, and you had a dream for him already, and now the dream just have changed. Nothing has changed with him. Your dream of what you had just changed with this one diagnosis, and don't look at it as the end of the world." A great example is, she said, it's kind of like you have this dream, you and your husband are gonna take a trip to Italy. You get to the airport and the flight has been canceled and you cannot go to Italy anymore. They gave you an option now to go to Spain. Is Spain any worse than Italy or better? No, it's gonna still be a beautiful trip. It's just not Italy. It's Spain now. And Spain will still be beautiful. Spain will still be an adventurous trip, and you will have the wonderful time on this trip. It's just different. And sometimes difference scares us to death. And change scares people. Change scares me every single day of my life, and I work on it to remind myself that change can also be wonderful. So I hope that if anything that you take from this video is that if you are diagnosed with hearing loss, you will be okay. Life will go on. Your baby will still be beautiful. Your baby will grow up just fine. And there's a lot of resource and there's a lot of information out there. And if there's any question you have, please comment down below, because I want to go more in depth of answering those questions and doing more videos that are related to what you guys are looking for and not me just ranting on about my own personal life. So if you could take anything from this video, please comment down below with any question or concern that you might have or you are curious about. And if you want me to do a more in-depth video of what is hearing test gonna be like, please let me know, because for an infant, it is completely different than an adult hearing test. And the device that they will give you to help your child is completely different than what an adult will get also. So I don't wanna rant on anymore. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you take back and realize that you will be okay. And we are all here for you. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.